We continue our working day, and I give the floor to Presidential Administration spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Oleksandr Motuzianyk. Good afternoon. And now, information on the events in the ATO area to your attention. The militants continued to violate ceasefire. 45 shellings were observed by our servicemen during 24 hours. Despite this, no Ukrainian serviceman was killed or injured during the last 24 hours. And now, more detailed information. In Lugansk area, the enemy violated ceasefire near Troitsky village, that is in the border of Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast. Short shelling by mortar of 120 millimeter caliber. In the Donetsk area, the situation remains the same. Low intensity fire continues along the line of contact. The enemy sporadically use heavy weapons, mortars and armored vehicles. In Mariupol area, the enemy violated ceasefire in Krasnogorovce, Marienka, Gnutova. They used 82 millimeter mortars, small arms and RPG of different systems. In Marienka, the snipers fired at Ukrainian servicemen. And there was one short provocation in Shirokino. And also in Mariupol area, during the last 24 hours, above the Azov Sea, our servicemen observed 3 enemy drones. According to intelligence service of MOD, due to desertion from the ranks of 3rd Detached Motorized Brigade of DPR, the leaders of the militants decided to deploy at the rear of this unit operative groups. So-called, it was done by the Ministry of Security Service of DPR that will create some backup line. These militants will have the right to shoot at people who became disillusioned with the ideas of Russian peace and run for their lives. SBU made materials about destructive activities of representatives of Russian side of JCCC. On the 2nd of February 2015, at the checkpoint, the officers, Russian officers from JCCC had with them, and our servicemen confiscated symbols of the militants, 2 books of separatist and anti-Ukrainian content, and also the several Russian servicemen had so-called medals called internationalist that were provided by DPR with documents written in their names. And also there were some materials and courses of lecture, and these were for the use of tank units under special condition. Also the use of grenades, mines, explosive materials in the course of blowing up bridges, buildings and other facilities. Also manuals on how to use rocket systems. Also guidelines how to conduct reconnaissance activities, and these books are of restricted access.
There is interest in that the title of the lecture course expropriated from Colonel Kirsanov from Russian Armed Forces. The title is as follows: Combat activities in deserts and in mountains. And we would like to remind that Russian army is very actively involved in Syria. They have heavy combats and have losses there. Their proxies try to get new knowledge. Also, the police officers had detained the resident of Kramatorsk who participated in illegal band formation in spring 2014 during occupation of Kramatorsk. He voluntarily joined the militants' ranks. Then he quit, but now he was detained. One more resident of Kramatorsk, who also participated in DNR bird formation, was detained by Luhansk police. Pro-Russian subversive agents get court verdicts, and thus they are punished for their activities against Ukrainians. In Zaporizhia, Arikhiv court made verdict of a 12-year imprisonment for one of the militants from Vostok battalion who committed subversive activities, having blown up the bridge near Arikhivska-Malata-Makivka railway bridge. Also, Ukrainian servicemen provide humanitarian aid close to the contact line. Officers from JCCC supplied humanitarian aid to kindergartens in Lugansk, Donetsk region. They provided toys, books, and pastries. Also, they supported classical wrestling studio there. Besides that, they supplied accumulators, parts for cars, etc. to our servicemen. Also, Ukrainian defenders master new tactical skills jointly with our Western allies. In Yavoriv training field, the military forces of Ukraine jointly with U.S. instructors from Canada and Lithuania master new group unit company exercises, and via Marienka checkpoint, 3 trucks with humanitarian aid crossed the contact line. Is my understanding right that Mariupol was the biggest hot spot during these 24 hours? Yes, you are right. Would you please mention the what's going on Mykolaiv training field? The general staff is currently working on eliminating the problems, on resolving the problems on Mykolaiv training field. There were complaints from one of the brigade, and currently there is an investigation, there is a scrutiny of the situation. And who are those servicemen who deserted from this military unit? Please ask a question to the general staff. Thank you, Ms.